Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Friday, December 20th, 2024. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first two cards in our 5-card spread? First two cards we are starting our day off with today are, whoo, look at it go. We've got the Temperance card in its upright in combination with our Hierophant in its upright. Slow and steady. Slow and steady right now, friends. Slow and steady. And I know, I know with the energy that we're experiencing right now, that may feel easier said than done. It may feel easier said than done. But I need to point this out. When we move with pathwork of intentionality, it's remembering that we have to see things on a grander scale. So we're understanding and recognizing that for a lot of the work right now, these are literally the cards about grounding. Like this is the energy that's like working on grounding now. Why are we seeing this? Because a lot of this, I want to describe this as like a lot of this work that we're seeing right now. The combination of the Sagittarian energy with the Gemini full moon energy, it feels flighty, right? It feels very triggering, right? It feels very like ungrounded, right? Like that's the best way to describe it. But that ability to remembering, grounding isn't something that you do. And everything about this work right now has to do with the work in recognizing and amplifying upon intentionality, right? We're going to see this coming through over and over and over and over again while Mars is in its retrograde. I want you to keep saying to yourselves, if you're working through this, courage is not the thing that we do when we have confidence. Courage is the thing we do when we're feeling that uncertainty, right? So a lot of this work, navigating forward in that way, it's requiring a lot of energetic concentration to a certain extent, right? And a lot of that work is building upon and recognizing what feels energetically tangible, what feels energetically productive. And so I see even now that for a lot of the energy experiencing this, and this is what we mean with pathwork of purpose. Like when you're moving with a pathwork of purpose, it doesn't matter which way the wind's blowing. It doesn't change, it doesn't move you off of your course, right? So we see even now that it's like a lot of that energy is getting very serious or working in that space of seriousness, right? And I like to see this because this is, again, this feels very positive given what we've been seeing, right? It's like it's the energy of acclimating. Now, this is going to, and this makes a lot of sense too, because we see a lot of energy moving deeper into divine union at this time. So we're going to get into this. Masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. What was a lot of that work that we see that is happening right now for the energy in separation? Rebuilding the bonds of trust. When trust is damaged, I want to point out, when trust is damaged, it's the cut that cuts twice, right? Because when trust is originally damaged, it hurts our ability to trust, but it also hurts our ability in moving forward to trust. So this is the energy that is healing together, right? And it's bringing forth different qualities and characteristics in masculine and feminine energy, right? For feminine, a lot of that work that we see even now, but they're both, like, look at the counterparts here. For feminine, it is that understanding of recognizing that when we're healing with someone, we don't feel we need to rush that process, right? That ability of enjoying the moment, being able to slow something down, to enjoy those small things, if you will. I see even now, there's almost a little bit of this, like, this is what I keep seeing here. This is the energy that says this feels good. This feels energetically comfortable, right? Because what is that feeling of comfortability? Comfortability is the feeling of someone that feels comfortable moving at the same pace as another, right? This is what we talk about with alignment, right? This is an energy that, and we see even now, like a lot of that is the feminine, like building into that space of hope, right? But this isn't, I need to point this out. This isn't the feminine hope. You see this here, right? This isn't the feminine hope seeing something oppositional to what they desire in healthy masculine and going, I hope that changes. No, this is the feminine seeing something in masculine that feels consistent, finding something in masculine that feels authentic. And this is the feminine that says, this is the feminine that that builds into that state of saying, I hope this continues, right? Like, this is that modality, that this is the important vital change. This isn't feminine energy building into a connection, seeing something they dislike in the masculine and going, I hope that goes away. Rather, this is the energy of the feminine building into a healthy connection and saying, I'd like more of this, please. Right? This is comfortability. And for masculine, we see that for masculine, this is also coming through towards the feminine. We see masculine in that modality of feeling, and I need to point this out, when masculine comes to the space of being authentic to feminine, this is the masculine that is finding the energy of the feminine that appreciates masculine in that modality, right? That truly sees them and appreciates what they're bringing forth. So these aren't energies that are putting that false sense of self to one another. They're doing the hardest thing possible. Feminine maintaining their energetic boundaries, masculine coming towards feminine with this place of authenticity. And they're liking what they see, right? They're finding that alignment. So this is beautiful energy right now, as we said, because these are energies that are feeling stability in the partnerships that they're coming into. Potentially, it's everything around them that feels a bit more wacky. Now, for masculine and feminine energy right now that are coming into divine union, I see even now there's a lot of this stabilization that's occurring right now for energy coming into divine union. A lot of this, I want to say, building into that this is a good sign for the energy coming into divine union right now, because it feels fortifying. It feels stabilizing. This is the energy that's not looking for that point of stability outside of the partnership. This is the energy that's finding it from within. And so even here, there's a lot of that energy right now that is feeling that modality of success, having grounded a relationship in a more tangible way. But why is that energy feeling like that? It's because not only has the energy grounded within it, but they've also navigated the turbulence along the way, right? And this is the energy that's working in that space of trying. They're recognizing that trying is just a qualifier on doing. This is bringing us more, again, to the energy deep within divine union. A lot of this energy right now, deep within divine union, focusing right now on creating, like working into those grounding practices, a lot of that practicality that I'm seeing here. And this is the energy that is being patient during this time, right? It's giving like a little bit of this feeling of like working towards and establishing consistency, routine, ritual. I got to just tell you, during this time of the year, I'm not surprised to see these two cards together. This is kind of like Santa Claus energy. I mean, you guys see it, right? Like, do I have to point out like the Temperance card with the Hierophant? Like, this is literally like Santa Claus is coming to town kind of energy. So I'm not surprised to see this type of energy rising up in the read today. But again, it's very wholesome. The center card for today's spread is we've got here again, like the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups. So like a lot of this energy that we're seeing even now, I have to stress this. It's feeling very very solstice. It's giving a lot of solstice vibes right now. Why is it giving a lot of solstice vibes? Because we've got this like still energy here, right? We've got this like still energy with the combination of like temperance and the hierophant. This is very much like that feeling of holding one's breath. But it's not the holding one's breath where you feel where you feel that sense or space of hesitation. It's just like a little bit of that like slowing down. But then we have this like bright spot here, right? So building into like a lot of work right now in appreciation and gratitude, right? There's a lot of that here. And I think that a lot of what I'm seeing here for a lot of the energy right now, deep within divine union, is working into that space of appreciation. I just see even now, particularly with the energy in divine union and for the energy coming into divine union. And I also see this right now for the energy of separation. I just keep hearing that there's like a message crossing all of these frequencies that says love is the peace that we bring towards one another, right? Like there's something about that feels like, I just keep seeing like the gift of a lot of the energy right now working into partnership is that feeling of energetic peace. So for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, this feels like the energy that is creating that sense of peace, like with their bare hands, this is the energy saying the peace that we create is the love that we create for one another. So I see even now like a lot of that energy deep within divine union, not just expecting joy, but crafting it, right? Like that's what we do when we love someone, we create joy for them. So we see even now like a lot of that energy is very much focused on creating joy at this time. It's just like, I feel cliche giving the reading too. I'm just reading the energy here. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is coming into divine union, this is the energy that is feeling that sense of gratitude as it relates to the stability that they've created for one another, right? I can just see even now that energy coming into partnership, working through that energetic turbulence, but still feeling like it has not changed what they felt for one another. This is the energy that effectively feels that sense of integrity and pride. Like I see even now, like a lot of pride that's occurring there. And again, for a lot of the energy coming into divine union, you should be proud of yourselves. That was a lot of turbulence we saw, just a week or so ago. Like a lot of that energetic feeling of disruption, especially with that Gemini full moon. So congratulations, right? Because we see even now, this is the energy that feels that sense of gratitude because they see one another and they not only see energy of partnership that feels the love for one another, but energy that is protective upon each other, right? Prioritizing the energy within union as opposed to any of the turbulence without. And while for a masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, this is some slow and steady wins the race kind of energy here, right? This is the energy that's identifying that feeling of not trying to rush a process as something that feels positive. Why do we see this right now? Because this is energy in separation, finding alignment with someone that keeps pace with them, right? And that's not pace as in ambition. This is energy that is finding that syncopation in what feels good. I just see even now, there's some of that energy that's building into like new partnerships here, potentially new routines. And I just keep seeing that that's either the energy in separation, that if they're feeling that sense of rejection, that's the energy saying that's not rejection, that's redirection. That person just isn't moving at my speed, right? Or, right, this is the energy that's finding someone that keeps pace with them, right? And that it feels like I can see that energy, feeling the comfortability of routine that is energetically developing with someone. This could even be like a little bit of that like slowing down that I see in some new energetic connections because of the recognition of obligations as well. fourth and fifth card in our 5 card spread, literally flying out of the deck right now. We have here our 7 of Cups in its upright in combination with our 8 of Swords in its upright. So this is beautiful because we see even now, we've got the 7 and the 8 here. We've got a lot of that feeling. And this is, listen, and this is why I want to stress that intentionality right now is really important. And this has to do with a little bit of this energy right now. What do we do when the energy feels like it's ungrounded? This is the energy that says it's working through recognizing like what is in one's own control to ground versus what is outside of one's control to ground, right? This is, and I keep getting this. This is a lot of the energy, like in separation, that is actively healing from experiences of the past that left them in a constant state of anticipation via the gift of healthy partnership that does not leave one in a state of anticipation. You leave something in a space of clarity, right? This is a lot of this energy in separation that is feeling the relief of building forth with someone that does not keep them in a state of anticipation. Anticipation, there is not healthy, right? Expectation, right? That is the healthy surprise to a certain extent. So even here, if there's something here that someone is teasing as it relates to an energetic surprise, this isn't the energetic surprise in terms of feeling like that sense of not knowing what's going to happen in a new energetic connection. This is the energy that recognizes the experiences from the past that were leaving them in a state of constant unhealthy anticipation via someone that says, oh no, I wouldn't do that to you. Like, this is the clarity I'm giving you. This is where we are. This is what's going to happen, right? The healthy connections always provide that sense of clarity. So there's a lot of that clarity that's occurring here. And I think it's even curious because I see even now for a lot of that energy and separation that's healing, it feels clumsy, right? Thank you. It feels very clumsy. But this is the energy that is feeling clumsy. But when they're feeling clumsy, they say, I'm giving this to you. And they almost come towards each other in an apologetic way, saying, I don't want to assume, like, it's like, it almost feels like someone like asking about plans, working through, like, again, I told you, what is this energy right now really, really good for? As long as you're not nitpicking at things that you don't need to pick at, it's very good at untangling knots. It's very good at fixing things, right? So that's why we see even now, utilizing that to like work through like details. And I see even now the healthy energy is working through and articulating upon details, right? And in the moment of someone being very exacting in relationality to their plans, immediately this is energy in separation. Closure is a quiet door. Heals from those experiences wherein you didn't know what was happening at any moment. Everything was leaving you in the dark. Right? Like, this is the energy that's feeling, I even see like a lot of bouncing back and forth right now between those experiences and feeling the robustness of a place that can be trusted versus the energy that was always keeping you in a state of constant uncertainty or anticipation. Well, for a lot of this energy right now coming into divine union, this is the energy that, like, I just keep seeing the energy and coming into divine union being like, I didn't expect it. I never expected to feel this way. Like, there's something really beautiful about this, because this is the energy that is recognizing and identifying that when we hold something sacredly, it changes us as well. And what is changing right now for a lot of the energy coming into divine union, it is either the ability of holding the partnership from a place of sacredness, or someone holding their connection to you with that sense of sacredness. So there's a lot of this, like, I want to say, like, a lot of this emotionality here. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the energy right now coming into divine union is feeling very emotional, because they're saying even now, like, this is the energy that is either recognizing like what they were not receiving prior to this point, or they're speaking towards the gift that they create within the self as they're navigating some of that turbulence that they just overcame that was happening without. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, this is the energy. I got to tell you right now, the energy deep within divine union is kind of more in like that warrior space, right? This is the energy that's like, it's giving me like elf energy. It's going like, we're going to make joy with whatever we need to make joy out of. like, what do we got to make joy out of? Well, we don't have a lot. It's fine. We're going to make it work. We're going to make the joy with whatever we have to make the joy out of. Right? It's a lot of that, like rolling up the sleeves kind of energy here. You got it. The energy of divine union right now is busy in the kitchen making joy. If you need them, they're in the kitchen making joy. They're in the workshop making joy. Continuing to get clarification between our Temperance card and our Hierophant. Can I please get one card to clarify? I love these two. This is so funny. The Temperance card and the Hierophant. I just got to tell you, that's Santa Claus energy. I'm just telling you, it's Santa Claus energy. Can I get one card to clarify, please? I cannot make this up. Okay, I just want to point out for those listening to the podcast, I just said the Hierophant and the Temperance card. Please go look at this spread if you don't have an opportunity to see it. It'll be up on my Substack when I post the podcast. I literally said it was Santa Claus energy, and the Six of Cups came up, which has little children on it. It's got little children on it. So yeah, it's a lot of that. It's like, we've got a lot of that energy here that is focusing and concentrating on the feeling of energetically sharing joy. Right. And so I see even now, like the energy of divine union, I can literally see the energy in divine union that's saying like, you can't bother me. I'm busy making joy right now. I mean, this is something that I see that energy is doing together in like in whatever way, it's a lot of that, like there's a lot of that feeling of compassion that's coming through here. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, and that is coming into divine union, I just keep hearing there's so much of this, and I got to say this even now, like, this is what's beautiful. When we talk about healing to a certain extent, what's beautiful about healing is even in those moments that we experience something hurtful from another, we're able to navigate it with a level or degree of compassion, right? Because I see even now, like, a lot of that energy coming into divine union, I almost hear them saying no hard feelings, right? Because that's the energy that keeps articulating to those around them. It's not, if there was volatility or pain that was caused as they were coming into divine union, this is more of that amplification we see of the energy saying, that intentionality, when we're building forth from a place of holding something energetically sacred, this is the energy that says, I'm not doing that. Again, it's more of the energy saying, I'm not doing that for effect. It's the energy that says we're doing it for because we're affected. And when you're energetically affected like that, I can see the energy saying, we want others to feel that way too, right? So there's a lot of that compassion that we see that is occurring in that modality here. There's a lot of healing I see for a lot of the energy coming into divine union right now and I just hear the energy articulating and saying to themselves, no hard feelings, right? And they're not saying no hard feelings because this is the energy that says that they're in that space of feeling the appreciation for how far they have come on their journeys. So there's something really beautiful that's occurring there. And I see a lot of that energy talking about the future or what they foresee with one another. Now, for masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, I keep seeing some beautiful, beautiful new energetic connections that are occurring right now. And even here, there's something that I keep hearing about the clarity that these energies are giving one another, right? Not leaving one another in a state of anticipation, but giving each other the gift of expectation. So even if something is slowing down right now in the process of them moving towards plans, this is the energy that being able to articulate and give each other the gift of what they can expect. This is what the gift is that they're giving each other. And what are they healing in the process? Any of those experiences of the past that kept them in a space of continual anticipation, not the healthy anticipation right? This is more of that conversation, this Gemini and full moon, man. It's all about the difference in nuance. It's fine lines here. So a lot of yes, like last week we were talking about the difference between hesitation and trepidation. Today we're talking about the difference between anticipation and expectation, right? Anticipation is painful. Anticipation is confusing. Anticipation is anxiety inducing. Expectation is exciting. Expectation is like it's like bubbly, right? Expectation is like exuberant, right? Because it is the surprise. It still has that same gift of surprise to it, but it has that sense of the confirmation that one can expect an energetic surprise in a positive way, as opposed to the energy that's healing from experiences of anticipation where they didn't know what was going to happen from one moment to the next, because like it feels more like the energy of like the trauma of the shoe that could drop, right? Continuing to get clarification between our Hierophant in its upright in combination with our Nine of Cups in its upright. One card to clarify. Look who's come out. Speaking of who we're going to be reading for. So we've got our Hermit card. So we'll actually be teaching on this class, next month, January 15th, if you'd like to join that class over on graystrega.substack.com. This is some of that restlessness that we were talking about yesterday. The energy right now, it's a restless type of energy, right? How do you ground? And we were talking about this. You see, now we're getting the clarification on the lesson we had yesterday. How do you ground energy that feels like it is more in that space of anticipation? You ground it by turning it into expectation, right? So this is the energy that, again, and this is why, thank you, Amy, and this is why we see even now, this is how this energy heals, because this is the energy that looks at the past and doesn't say, I'm going to do that again. This is the energy saying, I know how that feels. And I don't want to make another feel that way, right? This is the energy that's healing by saying to one another, I will never leave you in the dark, right? This is beautiful. These are healthy connections that are saying, my gift to you is that I will never leave you in the dark. I can see the energy saying, I might surprise you, like I might surprise you with something nice, but the energy saying to one another, I will never leave you in the dark as to what those surprises are. So there's something really beautiful about that we're seeing that's very healing, but I can see even now it's a little triggering. It's a little bittersweet here, because I see even now that for a lot of that energy in separation, starting to come towards those new energetic connections, it's reminding you, and remember, please remember right now, we're still in the Mercury retrograde shadow period. So if you're feeling a little bit of those pangs of the past, this is probably why, right? That when we heal those moments, sometimes something hurts again, right? It hurts twice as much because this is the energy that remembers what it felt like when someone did not give you that reassurance, when someone did not give you that sense of grounding, right? So we see even now, these are the energies that pushing that envelope, taking those fragile steps to each other. This is the energy that receives clarity on the way, right? And that clarity is clarity that they're receiving in the present, but also it is the clarity on what occurred in the past. Now, masculine and feminine coming into divine union right now, this is the energy that, again, feels that sense of assurance because they just went through something of that nature. I think that a lot of that energy may have felt like, and that's why I see that energy navigating something with a point of compassion, because if it's that sense or space of something that feels like it causes turbulence, this isn't energy that felt like they isolated in the process of that. This is the energy that effectively held on to one another even tighter, right? And so we see that is the energetic equivalent of saying that when we hold something sacred, it doesn't matter what's happening outside of union. It just brings us more closely energetically united. And so I see even now, even here, there's like, if these are energies that are healing, that did that work together. I can almost hear that there's a lot of that work that it's facilitating right now in relationality to both gratitude and apology, right? Like working through that to a certain degree. And a lot of that is also like that apology that I see. Like this is the energy that if they're experiencing something outside, this is almost the energy that looks and goes, I remember when I felt that way, right? Like this is the compassion that we bring forth to others when we identify and we recognize where that energetic pain is coming from. So there's a lot of compassion that I see that is occurring there, particularly for the energy coming deeper into divine union. While for a lot of this energy deep within divine union, I can just see this is what I mean about the energy in divine union just rolling up their sleeves and saying, look, we might not have clarity on anything, but we know what we have clarity on. We know what we can effectively change. And so this is a lot of the energy that is kind of like, working towards that to a certain degree, and like almost like putting whatever else is like on, like putting things on hold to a certain extent and saying like, this is what we need to focus on right now. We're busy making joy. Continuing to get clarification between our 9 of Cups in its upright in combination with our 7 of Cups in its upright. I love all these cups here. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our 5 of Swords in its upright. So again, I'm going to remind you, we are still in the retrograde shadow period. We're not out of it entirely. So if you're finding those moments of being energetically triggered, or you're having those moments of the past rising back to the surface, either tangibly or metaphysically right now, I want you to give yourself a space and identify and recognize how far you have come, right? Across all of the frequencies. Because that ability of, again, what happens when we have a healthy connection with the past, that ability of observing something, right? And seeing it within the self, it doesn't create bitterness, right? It doesn't create, and I can see even now, like it doesn't create like that ability of letting it go. It creates that space of observation. So I feel like there's a lot of this energy that I see right now that is articulating upon the past in a way of nostalgia, right? And what's beautiful about nostalgia is the conversation about something, but without a desire to return back to it. Right? That's why we describe nostalgia as closure, because, you can look at something with a level of clarity via it not being energetically triggering to you, even if something was energetically painful, right? So I see a lot of that nostalgia effectively coming into play right now across all of the frequencies in a positive or in a negative way. For the energy right now, deep within divine union, that nostalgia feels a bit more, it feels a little bit easier because there's compassion being brought forth to it. The compassion for the energy and separation might be more difficult right now because I'm seeing they're still very close to the things that they're looking at in that way, right? They're still very close energetically. Continuing to get clarification between our 7 of Cups in combination with our 8 of Swords in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now. I am so happy to see this card right now in its upright, because if you'll recall, we saw this card in its reversal yesterday. So there's a lot, like, congratulations to anyone who was doing that work yesterday, because it says to me, if you were going through those moments of doubt or uncertainty, this is the energy that is feeling the sense and the value and the consideration towards the gift that we give others in relationality to what we bring forth in ourselves. And I got to say it again, this is not energy that fakes it until they make it. The energy in divine union feels it until they heal it, right? Thank you. This is the energy I see even now. And look at this. This is like, I love it too, because we've got like the Hierophant with the Empress. This is like Mr. and Mrs. Claus right now. Do you see this? It just feels like a lot of that, like there's a lot of that feeling of energetic compassion that's coming through right now, embodying the spirit of energetic compassion at this time. And this is happening for energy deep within divine union. I just see this energy saying, like, this is what we do right now. Our job is making joy. While for the energy coming into divine union, this is a lot of this energy that says to one another, you are my joy. This is my joy, right? And the gift that they're giving one another is the recognition of feeling the energetic security of someone that you know has your back, right? Even when things are difficult. Now, for a lot of this energy and separation right now, this is the energy that is restoring trust. And it's hard, it's slow, but every day they get a little closer. And that's why it's expectation, because this isn't the energy that says every day it's a little closer. It's saying it's getting a little closer because every day that they build that consistency with one another, they believe, they begin to trust again, right? So that's the energy that is healing from the anticipation of not knowing what's going to happen from one moment to the next, via the expectation of the consistency that they're potentially creating with those new energetic connections that are showing the ability to be energetically consistent with one another. That is the difference between articulating the desire for something versus showing the consistency and being able to move towards it. Continuing to get clarification between our Six of Cups in combination with our Hermit card in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now. Beautiful. With our Two of Wands in its upright. So one of the things we like right now, and we're going to keep seeing this as we move out of the retrograde shadow, a lot of the gift that the energy within that's healing right now is giving one another is clarification on plans. The clarity that we give each other is the love that we create. That sense of peace, that sense of energetic stability. And so I see even now a lot of that energy. I told you, like taking some of that pickiness. Like, where can you take pickiness and utilize it with good purpose? Via planning. So for a lot of the energy right now, grounding some of that finicky energy into places like making plans. This is the energy that is utilizing it in positive ways, right? Because it's taking the restlessness, right? And doing something with it that is helpful, right? And if this is the energy that's receiving something like that feels less than helpful, it's the compassion that you give to it that allows you to redirect it, right? Well, and that's happening across, and in the process, there's that nostalgia factor. Because I just see that this is the energy remembering the pain another may have caused via anticipation. That uncertainty in not necessarily understanding what was going to happen or when it was going to happen. Like this is a lot of that deeper healing. Continuing to get clarification between our Hermit card in its reversal in combination with our Five of Swords in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Seven of Pentacles in its upright. I like this because the one thing I keep seeing is there's a lot of energy right now that is being able to take a lot of that feeling of like anxiety or a lot of that, like I want to say, like this is beautiful work right now if this is occurring, because being able to be intentional right now, slowing things down. I got to tell you, slowing things down in the midst of a Gemini full moon with a combination of the Sagittarius energy, like it is all about intentionality, right? It is all about like, that is intentional work, right? So this isn't the energy that we're seeing that is just allowing themselves to be blown around by the breeze. This is the energy that is just recognizing what is within the power to change versus what is outside to accept. And it's not changing their energetic direction. And that's happening across all of the frequencies. So congratulations to anyone who's doing that work effectively. Continuing to get clarification between our Five of Swords in combination with our Empress card in its upright. And it is having a different impact on masculine and feminine energy. And we're going to talk about that in a moment because I'm seeing that rising up right now. We have here, I love it, our Wheel of Fortune in its upright. Now, I have to stress, there is a point or value of appreciation that is occurring right now in relationality and in regard to how far one has come. And I just see even now that for a lot of that energy, working through that point of appreciation, it's not that everything is energetically perfect, but I just see that a lot of the energy and healing right now, I want to say this. It's very present in the moment, right? There's a lot of presence that's happening right now. And I know that word I don't mean presence. I do also mean presence, but I mean presence, not with a T. And why are we seeing that presence? Because there's a little bit of this work right now that's happening in terms of the future being energetically unknown, right? I can just see a lot of this energy right now saying the future is unknown, right? The past is behind. The power is in the moment. And so I see even now that a lot of that energy being very intentional right now with where they can kind of create that sense of harmony, where they can effectively create that sense of joy. I just identify that across, this is happening across all of these frequencies right now. There's something about intentionality of purpose that feels profoundly restorative. And for the energy in separation, this is building with energy that prioritizes peace, right? And the energy that prioritizes peace, it's not the fact that the energy is peaceful, you understand. It is the energy that says that they try to create peace between themselves. They don't try to create more energetic conflict. They are discerning. They are self-aware, but not self-absorbed. So they're very considerate and compassionate in relationality to being consistent with what they can energetically provide to one another, even in the spaces of clarity, right? Even in that modality of being clear, because this is the energy that says you don't need to be overgiving. You just need to be clear and consistent, right? And so this is the clarity and consistency that masculine and feminine energy are giving each other in separation, even if there is distance here, because I will point out we've got the feminine here and the masculine. And for some of this energy in separation, potentially not building upon the same plans, but that clarity of plan is helping the energy that's healing in new partnerships understand the difference between anticipation, that uncomfortable feeling when you don't know what's going to happen, versus expectation, the gift that we give one another when we articulate to another what we can expect, that creates a sense of anticipation in relationality to the expectation. Get it? While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is coming into divine union, this is a lot of that energy that is further healing in profound ways in partnership right now, specifically and particularly because this is the energy that is feeling the sacred gift that they're giving one another via the stability that they've created between one another. This is the energy that just that says to one another that consistency is the gift that they're giving to one another at this time. And they're also being very appreciative of their own journey because they recognize that the consistency that we're able to deliver to another is something that we first cultivate within the self as well. So that's why I see even now, this is the energy that is being appreciative both of what they found in counterpart, but also of their own journey. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, I can just see this energy that says, the one thing I can commit to you. What do we do when we're not sure what the future holds? We say to one another, my gift to you is knowing where my energetic commitment is, right? And so we see even now that for a lot of that energy, this is the energy that loves one another and holds one another because this is the energy that says this is what we create for each other, come what may, right? Continuing to get clarification between our Two of Wands in combination with our Seven of Pentacles in its upright. One card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now. There's that abandonment wound. We're going to talk about it, right? There's that abandonment wound rising to the surface right now. Now, this is why there's so much compassion that we're effectively seeing that is coming up at this time. Why is this energy of compassion coming towards us? Because and I need to point this out, the energy deep within divine union and the energy coming into divine union, it's not that their abandonment wounds aren't still there. The abandonment wounds effectively never go away. But these are the energies that articulate upon the abandonment wounds. They don't react to it. And so I see even now, and this is why, even now, if someone is working through something external, wherein another is projecting their abandonment wounds onto them, right? This is why, for the energy coming into divine union and deep with undivine union, they're able to navigate it with a level or degree of compassion, because this is almost the energy that can recall and remember when they themselves used to be more in that space of amplifying those projections out outside the self, right? And so we see even now, like, that's why the energy is being compassionate. It's almost like that state of saying, like, you know, when you see someone in that modality, you wish, like, you want them to come into the space where they can identify and recognize it within the self, right? But it's almost like I can see, and we can, like, I want to point it out this way, because this is very nuanced that's happening right now across the vectors. For the energy deep within divine union, this is the energy that says it doesn't matter what occurs, because we know each other and we understand each other's intentions, right? Like, that's that moment that we're able to articulate and we're able to ease others, because this isn't the energy that feels others' abandonment wounds and then just kind of absorbs them. This is the energy that says that they work, like, they work in that space of, like, soothing those energetic fears, like working through that. And a lot of those abandonment wounds that rise to the surface have to do with what cannot be seen or what exists beyond, like, beyond the self. And this is the energy that says, to a certain degree, they are always there. We are always navigating uncertainty, but that doesn't change our intentionality, right? While for masculine and feminine that is coming into divine union, if this is energy that's still experiencing that turbulence as they move deeper into divine union, that is why the energy can see it and recognize it and navigate it with a level and degree of compassion, but not redirection, right? Because when we're experiencing that to a certain degree, this is the energy that says, I understand. Like, we remember those moments when we ourselves were in that kind of pain. We recall those moments when we ourselves were working through those energetic situations. But that's why we see even now that when we're focusing on path work, we don't take things personally. Because why would you take another's path work personally? Right? This is the energy that says, when we're in a space of self-actualization, when we're moving with our purpose, we don't take other path work personally. We might not agree with it. We might not be able to see it, but we allow for that moment or modality where we wish others well, because that is the gift of compassion that we give to each other to identify and recognize what that path work of purpose is. So I just see even now a lot of that energy coming into divine union. And if they're experiencing any of that turbulence of someone taking that path work personally, they say to them, I'm sorry you feel like that. I wish you well. And they mean that in truly, right? Because that is the energy saying, I hope you build into a state where you don't feel abandoned on your own journey, right? For a lot of the energy right now that's in healing, in separation, I can see a lot of the energy in separation that's healing from this right now. And that's what's so beautiful about it. This is the energy in separation saying, you can never be abandoned on your own journey. You're always exactly where you need to be. Because this is the energy that says to themselves, I didn't expect to find myself here, but I found myself here. Because that is the energy that feels that sense of presence. And when they feel those wounds come up, right? Those experiences, and this is a Mercury retrograde that says, the past will repeat. This is the energy that says to themselves in separation, the past will not repeat because I am not that person. The past only repeats if you're still the same person. So if you're going through that and you're no longer the same person, rest assured you are not repeating your path work, right? And even here we see that this is a lot of the energy that's feeling that anxiety, feeling those fears that are rising up, feeling those worries and doubts. Are they reacting to it? Are they allowing those fears and volatility to move them in a direction other than the one that they desire to go into? No, this is the energy in separation that says, I face my fears. I confront the ones that are tangible. I send away the ones that are not. And I move with intentionality. And so this is the energy that even as the past rises up, this says that was the exception to the rule. And building into consistency with another reaffirms the fact that that was the energetic exception. The thing that hurt you is not the thing that you can expect, because you are the force of change via your own consistency. Continuing to get clarification between our Seven of Pentacles in combination with our Wheel of Fortune. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Fool card in its reversal. So this is more of that beautiful energy, and I need to see this right now. Look at this. I need to show you this because it's really beautiful. This is the Mars retrograde. And I got to tell you, the Mars retrograde, it's going to be here until February. So you got to get used to it, right? That's that Mars retrograde. All those doubts, all those fears, all those parts of the self that say you're not good enough. Nobody cares about you, right? All of those little unhealthy, all those past traumas, all of those wounds that say to us, you are the wound. What is the energy saying to itself as they heal? I'm not the wound. I'm wounded. I'm not the wound. You're not the wound. You are wounded. And every time you say that to the self and say, I am not the wound, I am wounded, I am healing from it, I am not the hurt that caused it. This is the energy that moves forward mindful of those wounds. And what are they doing as they build forth into new energetic connections? They're not becoming the same energy that caused those wounds in the first place. This is how we love. This is how we heal. We look at those and say, you do not have power over me. Those were created out of fear, and they can be replaced by love. And every time we trust, we say to the fear, the love wins. So this is the energy that is building forth right now, taking those steps away from the thing that hurt them, and paradoxically, oftentimes doing the same thing that hurt them in the first place. Because when you do, the universe is then given the opportunity to say to you, hey, now I get to show you what it's like with someone that cares. Now I get to show you what it's like with someone that has the same intentionality. Now I get to show you what it would be like with someone who has been hurt the same as you. And so we see even now a tremendous amount of healing that's occurring in these modalities, even as it is energetically difficult. And for a lot of that energy coming into divine union, this is why the energy is proud of themselves, but they're not perfect. This is the energy saying we're not perfect, but we can see the progress. And for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, this is the energy that says, doesn't matter what it is. Bring it on. This is the energy going, whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever you bring forth doesn't change the intentionality. This is the energy saying, whatever it is, we're going to make it joyful. We're going to make it work every step of the way. Final card for today's spread between our Five of Pentacles in combination with our Fool card. We've got here our Page of Wands in its reversal. So let's, and I got it. This is what we talk about right now, right? This is a lot of that work, and a lot of this right now, all of everything we're seeing right now, this is inner child healing. This is inner child healing, right? And that's hard, right? Because the wounded inner child, right? The wounded inner child that we often carry with us, wants to believe they're not good enough, right? They want to believe that they're the cause of all the problems around them. They're used to being blamed for things. They're used to having to hold the blame. They're used to holding the shame that another gave them when they put that energetic burden upon them. Having different impact right now on masculine and feminine as they heal that inner child. For the feminine energy, it's remembering. This is the feminine energy that's reaffirming and saying, hey, the higher self of the feminine saying, hey, listen, when you're holding standards, it's going to feel like rejection. It's going to feel a lot like rejection. It's going to feel a lot like someone that makes you feel energetically rejection. Keep going in that direction, right? Healthy energetic connections will always maintain your energetic standards, right? So this is a lot of the feminine that's working on that, and they're becoming very energetically protective in the process, because that's a gift that they give themselves, but they also give to those around them. While for masculine energy, this is a lot of the masculine energy that says, I don't need to hide my emotions. I don't need to fight my emotions. I don't need to look at myself as flawed because I have emotions. Emotions are a gift. They're a sacred gift. What is important is identifying the emotions that are sacred versus the emotions that come from the unhealed inner child, right? What feels like it is demanding. And how do we find these things out? We ask the questions to ourselves. So for masculine and feminine right now in separation, a lot of this work, it feels frightening. This is the energy moving into partnership, and you're feeling terrified. But you're holding terror because you recognize the sacredness of the act, right? These are energies that do not take their path work lightly. And so being able to articulate through those fears instead of reacting to them, this is also the energy that shows that fearlessness. Because in articulating the anxiety instead of reacting to it, we allow the other the ability to meet and match us in that space. And this is the energy that remembers that if articulating a fear sends someone further away from you, well, then that's usually evidence that the fear was well established in the first place, right? While for masculine and feminine that are coming into divine union, this is why, if this is energy that was navigating all of that turbulence coming into divine union, this is not the energy that's becoming bitter. This is the energy that wishes in their hearts that another will also understand the sacredness of what it is that they're moving towards. Because this is not the energy that's coming into divine union for effect, not to get a reaction in those around them. They're doing it because they have been affected, because they are already feeling that change, and they're continuing to change even as they move deeper into that state of energetic union. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, this is just feeling like a lot of this, like, I want to say, like, this is protectiveness. This is energy that says that when we love, we create shields. We work to energetically shield those we care about from the difficulties. And so I see even now, like, this is why the energy is saying whatever comes towards us, we're going to move it into a state of positivity. There's a lot of this alchemizing that I'm seeing right now for a lot of the energy deep within divine union that says we have the power to create joy. You cannot take that joy from us, because that is something that we create within ourselves. So I see even now, like, a lot of that energy, it feels like creating joy right now it's like the audacity of creating joy, right? Because that is something that cannot be taken away from the self. It is something that we can always find within the self via the power of love. Bottom of the deck on today's reading is, we've got here, our Queen of Pentacles in its upright. The tangible space is a little bit confusing right now. Let's just be honest. Okay, so we've got here, like a lot of this that we see even now, it's working through that energetic frustration point, right? A lot of this that we're seeing, it feels more like that frustration as it relates to the situations and circumstances that are outside of our control. But I see even now that a lot of that energy moving forward in that directionality, working on grounding right now. This is just further amplification. Grounding right now is key. We're just going to say it again. The Gemini energy with the Sag energy, it creates a lot of that like wanting to move very quickly, right? Trying to get ahead of yourself. Move slower. Slow it down. And I know that might feel counterintuitive to how you're feeling right now. But again, when we're experiencing energy that's as high vibrational as the combination of the Sagittarius and Gemini, the difference between being adaptable and being integral. It doesn't require you to be overly picky on things that you don't need to be picky on, right? It's recognizing what you need to be firm on and what you need to be flexible with. And again, if someone else is coming towards you in a way that they're being like too firm on something you think that they should be flexible on, ask those questions, right? Like work through that, like identify and recognize what that is. Because I see even now, there is something I want to say deeply restorative about this work, because it is like, this is the appreciation that, and like anything that you're receiving right now that feels stable is like you recognize and identify the value and intentionality of it. But I also see here, it's also the difference. I'm going to just bring this up. It's the difference between someone saying, how like, wow, oh, lucky, like luckiness versus intentionality. Like, make sure that you're not getting upset right now by anyone who says oh, good for you kind of thing. Because again, when we say good for you, we're navigating more of that same sense of like someone taking something personally. But that ability of someone saying to another and articulating and saying to someone like, you make something look easy, or you make something look like effortless. That is the recognition of the gift that we create for one another when we're able to navigate from a place of being energetically grounded, right? It's like when you see and understand the difficulty of being energetically grounded in a time when the energy is high, you really do look at it with like a sense of like profound appreciation, because you're like, thank you. Like, thank you for being consistent. Thank you for your stability. It is a gift right now. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, gracestrega.com. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website, so I encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class this week on the strength card. If you missed that class, never fear, you can still catch it. If you become the video for that reading, for that class, not reading, will be up on my Substack today. And if you would like access to that class recording as well as the class recordings of all of our previous classes, all you need to do is become a subscriber to my Substack, graystrega.substack.com. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also have access to the full repository of classes that we've studied thus far. That is over 9 hours of material that will be available as a part of your subscription. It's not necessary to catch up for our next class. I'll be giving a recap in each and every class, but the material's there for you to receive when you're ready to receive it. You will also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we've studied thus far. And if you become a founding member, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, you will also receive a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, wherein I will assess where you are on your own particular tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage to meet your particular tarot goals. One of the things I tried to focus on in these classes was making them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. It does not matter what level you're at, there's something there for you at every level. Our next class will be held on Wednesday, January 15th, and we will be focusing our studies on the Hermit card. I cannot wait to teach this class to you. And also, even if you don't become and if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, I would encourage you to go over to our subscriber only Discord channel, because there you will find a very special coupon code that will give you an additional discount to that Substack subscription. Even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I post my weekly newsletter there that'll let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. You'll also be notified as to our giveaway information. And speaking of giveaways, we have announced the winner of our November giveaway. Congratulations. If you'd like to find out if you won, head over to my recent newsletter post. We have listed the winner there. Finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for my clients seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your own personal journey. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again on Monday.